Hi, and welcome back to my Christian channel. I'm going to continue today in the series on spiritual warfare called The Battlefield. These notes and studies are compiled by my late pastor, Mr. Frank Hunting. Today we're going to look at the field of operation in which we operate. And I'll quote scriptures from time to time. I'd suggest you have a pen and notepaper ready to jot down things so you can look them up and re-listen to this and get some guidance to make this study fruitful for you. The scripture that's recommended to read in the first instance is Matthew 16:13-23 and Luke 22:24-34. So I'll commence. The first heading we have is our battle is a spiritual one. That means the weapons we are to learn to use are spiritual ones, and the warfare we wage is in the spiritual realm, where we must not blame the devil for everything that goes wrong. Christians are apt to have one cure for everything. When Christians don't know what to do about things, and I'm talking about the things they should have made it their business to know, they give one pet answer: pray about it. Often, this is a cop-out. We don't tell a neurotic person to pray about the things troubling him or her. If you do, it will make them worse. But many Christians think they are giving the right answer when they tell a neurotic to pray. I remember when I was in a neurotic state once and Frank was counselling me, and he said exactly the same thing without explaining why. He said, "I don't want you to pray about this, I will. You just go and hang on to this particular verse." Some Christians do this kind of thing with the devil. They blame him for everything wrong about themselves or their situation. It sounds biblical to blame the devil for everything, but it isn't accurate to do so. The devil is the blackest of evil, and he has a finger in many an evil pie, where he is not recognised, but he isn't always the villain in the piece. I'll read that again. The devil is the blackest of evil, and he has a finger in many an evil pie where he is not recognised, but he isn't always the villain in the piece. The devil doesn't mind if you blame him for everything. Why? Because if you are blaming him and he is not the cause of the trouble, you will set about trying to deal with him, the wrong one, and you won't cure the trouble because the devil is not the cause. These are very easy traps for Christians to fall into. Let me illustrate. Often we do what we do, we are what we are, we react as we do, we have the attitudes we have, we say what we say because that is what we want to say, want to do, to be and to have. It has nothing to do with the devil. It has everything to do with a nasty bit of self, unregenerate self, that we won't deal with or die to. The way to deal with this self is to crucify it, nail it to the cross. And some scripture to look up here: Romans 6 verse 6, Galatians 2 verse 20, Galatians 5 verse 24, and Galatians 6 verse 14. Only you and I can do this. That means nailing it to the cross and to crucify self. Only you and I can do this. It has nothing to do with the devil. When Christians blame the devil for the things they are responsible for, as they do, it is really a cop-out. They blame the devil because they won't admit, or are too frightened to admit, or are too proud to admit, that the blow-up, the blast they let go, was the real self, the real person coming through. It's much easier to blame the devil than to face the truth about ourselves. Have you ever wondered why? Some very fine, some prominent, some very sincere Christians seem to have a glaring flaw or fault or weakness which they carry to the grave. They never overcome it. One of the reasons why they stay like they are is because they blame the devil for the bad things, the wrong things, the sneaky things, the selfish things, the nasty things, the weak things in themselves for which they are responsible. The devil chuckles with glee when we do this. So the Christian has two things to do. One, recognise the devil when it is the devil. Two, recognise when it is themselves who is the cause of the trouble or difficulty. The devil uses people, circumstances and situations. A word about the devil using people. The first thing to note is the devil will use anyone to do his work, and you can look these up. Matthew 16:13-23, Luke 22:24-34, Acts 5:1-11, Acts 7, Acts 8:14-24. We are apt to think the devil only uses bad people, evil people, those who are not Christians. In the local congregation, it is mostly Christians whom the devil uses. The devil will bring down, and has, prominent Christians. We've seen something of that in the news lately. And how? One reason could almost certainly be too many Christians thought their leaders did not need their prayers. They were leaders, strong, they wouldn't fall. They couldn't fall, so only a few prayed for them. A Christian once said to me, "I don't pray for you. You don't need it. You are strong." That may have been flattering, but it was dangerous for me. I did need her prayers. The next part of this is God's mighty weapons. I think I might delay or stop the talk here to let you ponder that. Look up some of those passages, and the next part I will start at God's mighty weapons. So thanks again for watching, and God bless, and I'll see you next time.